The Secret Service is mandated by Congress with two distinct and critical national security missions: protecting the nation's leaders and safeguarding the financial and critical infrastructure of the United States. The Secret Service ensures the safety of the President of the United States, the Vice President of the United States, the President's and Vice President's immediate families, former presidents, their spouses and their minor children under the age of 16, major presidential and vice presidential candidates and their spouses, and visiting foreign heads of state. The Secret Service also provides physical security for the White House complex, the neighboring Treasury Department building, the Vice President's residence, and all foreign diplomatic missions in Washington, D.C. These are top 5 best Secret Service moment when protecting the President. Number 5, President Trump attended G7 summit in Italy in 2017. The Secret Service guarded President Trump for his first G7 summit with other world leaders. The 43rd G7 summit was held on 26 May 27, 2017 in Taormina, Sicily, Italy. The leaders of the G7 countries gathered for their 2-day summit to address migration, global warming, and terrorism among many other issues. The 2017 summit brings together several new leaders on the world stage such as US President Donald Trump, French President Emmanuel Macron, British Prime Minister Theresa May and Italian Premier Paolo Gentiloni are all attending their first G7. Security is massive for the event. According to the Italian news agency ANSA, a total of 7,000 police have been assigned to Taormina along with nearly 3,000 soldiers. Number 4, attempted assassination of President Ronald Reagan in 1981. On March 30, 1981, United States President Ronald Reagan was shot and wounded by John Hinckley Jr. in Washington, D.C., as he was returning to his limousine after a speaking engagement at the Washington Hilton Hotel. President Reagan was seriously wounded by a .22 long rifle bullet that ricocheted off the side of the presidential limousine and hit him in the left underarm, breaking a rib, puncturing a lung, and causing serious internal bleeding. He was close to death upon arrival at George Washington University Hospital but was stabilized in the emergency room, then underwent emergency exploratory surgery. He recovered and was released from the hospital on April 11, 1981. When gunshots sounded, members of the Secret Service immediately protected the president and in the chaos situation occurred, some of them arrested the suspect. White House Press Secretary James Brady, Secret Service agent Tim McCarthy, and police officer Thomas Delahanty were also wounded. All 3 survived, but Brady suffered brain damage and was permanently disabled. Hinckley was found not guilty by reason of insanity on charges of attempting to assassinate the president. Hinckley remained confined to a psychiatric facility. Number 3, Donald Trump inaugural parade in 2017. Donald J. Trump continued an inaugural tradition after he was sworn in as the 45th President of the United States. With his wife, Melania Trump, at his side, he stepped out of their limousine and took a brief stroll along Pennsylvania Avenue on Friday to wave at crowds during the inaugural parade. The decision to run during the march appears to be left up to the new president. During the parade, members of the Secret Services surrounded Donald Trump and Melania Trump to ensure the safety of the President and First Lady from possible threats. The inauguration of Donald Trump as the 45th President of the United States marked commencement of the first term of Donald Trump as President and Mike Pence as Vice President, held on Friday, January 20, 2017, at the west front of the United States Capitol in Washington, D.C. The event was the 58th presidential inauguration. Inaugural events included concerts, the swearing-in ceremony, a congressional luncheon, parade, inaugural balls, and the interfaith inaugural prayer service. Number 2, first Barack Obama inaugural parade in 2009. The next best moment of Secret Service was protecting President Obama and his family during the first inaugural parade. The inaugural parade route ran along Pennsylvania Avenue from the U.S. Capitol, ending at the north face of the White House. The parade lasted more than 2 hours during the afternoon and early evening following the inaugural ceremony. Parade participants included 15,000 people, 240 horses, a mariachi band, dozens of marching bands, the Virginia Military Institute Corps of Cadets, and 2 drum and bugle corps, the Cadets and the Colts. President Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama traveled in the new armored limousine because of potential security threats. The first inauguration of Barack Obama as the 44th President of the United States took place on Tuesday, January 20, 2009, at the west front of the United States Capitol in Washington, D.C. The 56th inauguration, which set a record attendance for any event held in Washington, D.C., marked the commencement of the first term of Barack Obama as President and Joe Biden as Vice President. Based on combined attendance numbers, television viewership, and internet traffic, it was one of the most observed events ever by the global audience. Number 1. President Trump meets Kim Jong-un in demilitarized zone in 2019. Following the conclusions of the 2019 G20 Osaka Summit in Japan on June 30, 2019, Trump and South Korean President Moon Jae-in visited the DMZ before the meeting with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Kim invited Trump to cross the border line, and Trump briefly crossed in North Korea before crossing back into South Korea together with Kim. Trump thus became the first U.S. president to enter North Korea. Trump accompanied by a massive security contingent and surrounded by full Secret Service team. Trump and Kim were side by side posing for photos and taking a step together over the line into North Korea. They then spoke briefly to reporters inside a nearby room before holding talks that Trump had predicted would last just a few minutes but went on for close to an hour. Both leaders predicted it would lead to better things to become between their two countries.